Hey Stacy, I've made this video to sort of go through the numbers in a way that you can look at first before I call you tomorrow to make sure that what I'm proposing is going to be okay. So after our meeting of March of 2017, I implemented the plan to make the cuts that we discussed, and I cut amongst all the small things. The major expenses are on this spreadsheet here, and so I cut, and these are actual numbers, I looked them up. So I cut our budget for Websites for Less and my team, my 5-member team, to 11% to $299. I cut AdWords from 160 to 124. I verified that number. That's a 23% cut. So that represented from 2016 to 2017 a total of a 14% cut. Now, before I go into my proposed cuts for the balance of this year and for 2019 and 2020 projections, I want to point out the performance and what actually happened as a result of the cuts. So we'll go to this here. So this slide here is from Google Analytics, and it shows from January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017, compared to January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2016, that even after the 14% cuts for 2017, and what the cuts that were made the remainder of 2017, we experienced a far less than what would be expected drop in revenue, 4.51%. We actually received an increase of our conversion rate due to a lot of the work that we did to actually squeeze out as much as we can from the budget. However, we still saw a drop in total number of transactions and a total drop of the average order value. So with the drop of revenue, you would expect a drop in transactions. The average order value, I think, is mostly dropped because of some of the items that were cut off of the catalog that were coming up as suggested sale items when people check out. So sometimes when you cut things out, the system doesn't actually recommend the best products for people when they're checking out, and you would expect to see that too. So this next slide is for actually comparing May 15, 2017 or May 16, 2018 to May 15, 2017. So that's the from this point in time to a year ago compared to the same period the previous year. So this also gives you an interesting snapshot. And what it does really is it shows that we're actually recovering from the impact of the cut in the budget. And so again, we see an increase in the conversion rate. That really helps. We also see an increase in transactions, which is a very positive number. So we actually sold more orders, but we had somewhat less revenue. And again, that's because our average order value dropped, and that would be because, again, the system is just, we keep cutting off products, and some of the products that people were adding on were probably more than likely products that were upselling easily, and there could be other factors too, but mainly it has to do with merchandising and not the marketing actually. So, but this is a really encouraging number. And then we move on and we look at this year to date. So January 1st to May 17, 2018, compared to the same period of 2017, and this would be well after all of the effects of the cuts from 2017. And you can see that our reduction has actually flatlined. In other words, less than 1% decrease in revenue as a result of a 14% decrease in budget spending is, by any circumstances, by anyone's measurement, a very successful outcome. So, and again, we see conversion rates down slightly, however, transactions are up and average order values down. So then even more encouragingly, if we take this last 30 days and compare it to the same period last year, our actual revenue is up 7%, transactions are up almost 10%. So clearly, if you look at these three in their entirety, it shows that we did have some impact from the cut in budget, but because of all the extra overtime and hard work we've been doing bringing in sales from other channels besides AdWords, that we actually were able to offset and really almost begin like we're starting to increase. And if we could have the same budget, we probably would continue to increase, because that's how it is. But since you're wanting to cut budget, I'm going to present some numbers that I believe will allow us to cut your budget substantially, however, not decrease any further in sales. So this last slide is from your AdWords. It just shows that the last 12 months we're at 120,000, which is consistent with what we agreed that I would cut it back to from the 160,000 or 18,000 a month to 10,000 a month, which is right in there at that 120,000 over a 12-month period. Okay, so now the proposed cuts. What I propose is to cut. First of all, I go over the other guys. Bing, I put that down to 0. We really looked at this, and with only $500 a month budget, we weren't getting anything that's really worth measuring, so might as well just cut it all together. The Google, I said cut it from the current $10,000 a month. It's now set for $7,500 a month, which is an effective $30,000 per year cut as of today, and I'm proposing an additional $1,500 per month to cut on October 1st, reducing another additional $18,000 for a total of a reduction of $48,000. So that reduction would be seen averaged out to what we've paid to date, plus the $7,500 reduction rate and then the $6,000 reduction rate. I did my numbers, and it should come out pretty darn close to $92,000 at the end of the year. Okay, and then so I've also, and then going into 2020, we have it down to 5,000, which is 60,000 a year. So then also I have some immediate budget cuts, which I can do, and is really getting me to the part where it's very difficult for me to make these cuts, but I can and will, in order to preserve the relationship in the account. So we have, and more importantly, I can and will make these cuts without any reduction in your service level, which means we're just going to work harder and keep doing the same work for less money, basically. So we have $250 a week, which is a $13,000 per year reduction to go effective July 1st, and then another $250 to go effect, which is another $13,000 per year rate to go effective by December 1st. Another $13,000 per year to kick in April 1st, 2019, and another $13,000 for August 1st, for a total of $52,000 reduction by August 1st of 2019. So again, I worked some numbers, and we have our initial reduction. With these reductions, by the end of this year, it'll come out to about $286, which is a 5% reduction. And then for 2019, again, we're averaging in the phased-in dates for these amounts, and so the very, very close estimate is going to be 268. And then those will have been completely phased in by 2020 and comes into a total of 248. So then we have the add into the AdWords with the reduction of budgets. So you can see we have for this year an additional 5% reduction in our budget, an additional 26% for AdWords, which results in an additional 11% overall. 6, 22, and 10, 7, 17, and 9. So over the 3-year period, we implemented phase cuts. We have 14, 25, 35, a 44% reduction in the overall budget. And so far, from what we can see, we've experienced really about a 2.5%, maybe 3.5% reduction in gross sales from the website. I don't think I can keep a zero on that, but I would say that we could keep maintaining at the rate of decline that we have, which would be another 2, 4, perhaps 6% by 2020. So a total of about 11% reduction in sales over the 3-year period, resulting from a 44% reduction in the budget for the web and the advertising and everything that goes into that. So I will send you this along with the spreadsheet and the image slides and give you a call sometime by noon or so, and hopefully we can have a conversation and put this to bed. So thank you very much for watching this, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning.